Hello there, Alaskans, wherever you are. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
So welcome everybody to the Must Read Alaska Show. I'm your host, John Quick, coming to you live from somewhere in Alaska. For those of you that have watched us already today, you get a special treat, 2 shows in one day, which is pretty awesome. I am live today with Galiano, who is the founder of Boxabl. He's also had many other successes in business. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show, Galiano.
Hey there, nice to meet you, and thank you so much for having me. And yeah, my name's Galiano, and I'm the founder of a company called Boxabl, where we are mass producing houses in a factory.
So tell folks a little bit about Boxabl and why you think there's so much excitement around Boxabl for those that maybe have been living in a closet or under a rock. Maybe they haven't heard of you, so this is your time to give the elevator talk about why Boxabl is so awesome.
Yeah, so definitely I would suggest anyone just jump over to our website, boxabl.com, and you'll quickly see a video of a house that unfolds. And the reason the house unfolds is so that it can be shippable. So I'm actually sitting in our factory right now, which we started about a year ago, where we produce these houses that fold up so they can ship. And the reason they need to ship is so that we can scale up mass production. And if we can scale up mass production, hopefully we can dramatically reduce the cost of housing.
So this is pretty cool. So one of your houses, I think, is somewhere around $50,000. Is that right?
Yep. So
what do you think, let's say you're sitting on the beach 30 years from now, sipping Mai Tais. What do you want Boxabl to be remembered by? What's going to put a smile on your face?
Well, what we're doing here is really the biggest thing I possibly could imagine doing, because building construction is such a large industry. It's like trillions of dollars around the world, and it's so old school. So right now you have about 90% of buildings that are built on site by hand, one at a time, literally with a nail gun and a guy standing on a ladder in the rain kind of thing. So obviously that's very inefficient, and we think that by making the buildings compatible with the factory mass production, that we can kind of produce a product that is dramatically cheaper, faster to build, higher quality than any existing building system out there, and hopefully take a large share of the entire world's building construction and, just mass produce affordable housing for everyone. So if we pull it off, it's potentially really, really big impact to, increase people's quality of life by reducing their housing costs.
So, you've had a lot of success. I've just Googled you yesterday before I wanted to have you on the show. You've had tremendous amount of success. Your whole family has. What kind of advice would you give to somebody out there that's a young entrepreneur that's looking at this and being like, holy crap, this guy is literally changing an entire industry and I can't even sell something on Shopify. What's some advice that you'd give them?
Well, it wasn't all success. There's been a bunch of big hits that have worked out, but there's been many more failures and just a lot of grueling perseverance. So I would say if you want to be an entrepreneur, you really have to kind of work harder than everyone else, or else you're better off just going and clocking in somewhere. So, and then, you just kind of keep grinding away and working, harder than everyone. And kind of sometimes feels like you're just banging your head against a brick wall. But eventually you can break through. And when we started Boxabl, I was just trying anything under the sun to get people interested in it. And I kept going out there kind of chasing every possible idea I had. And at first, no one cared. And eventually I kind of figured out social media marketing. And what it came down to, which is what I learned, was basically you get views, then you collect leads from those views, and then you remarket to those leads, and you can basically sell anything with that formula. So then the question is, how do you get the views? And I figured out, well, social media works good for that. And we first got a little traction when I reached out to a YouTuber who had a relevant channel about housing and said, hey, do you want to do a video on us? And she did a video on us. And then I went from no one caring about Boxabl to all of a sudden some web traffic, some email inquiries, and just kept going and leveraging and doubling down on things that worked. And now, we're sitting in a 170,000 foot factory with several hundred employees that we've just set up, basically a year ago now. We've raised over $120 million from over 20,000 investors. We have a wait list for this product that's 130,000 names long, and everything is just kind of snowballing right now. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, snowballing in a good way. Well, I bet there was a moment where, you potentially thought to yourself, holy crap, this is actually going to work. Can you describe that feeling for folks that have never felt that before, what that was like?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I mean, it's been really like pure adrenaline the whole time. Like one thing after the next happens, and it kind of gets crazier and crazier. And every time it almost feels equally good. But there was certain kind of pivotal moments along the way. One big one was our first order for houses came from the federal government, the Department of Defense. So one Saturday afternoon, I was taking phone calls with people because I was drumming up those leads and on the phone all day, every day, and talking to a lot of people who were just kind of interested and a lot of people who were full of shit. And when I talked to this one guy, he told me that he worked for the military base and he was going to order houses, and I didn't believe him, but I was nice to him and I talked to him. And then a month later, he reached back out and he was the real deal, and he placed a large order for basically about $9.5 million worth of houses. Wow. Before we had a factory. We didn't have anything except a few prototypes that I built by hand. And once I realized this guy was the real deal, I was like, holy shit. And then at that point, we also realized that we had to start bigger than we had planned in order to even have a chance at fulfilling this order. But we did. We toured the military in this building when it was completely empty. They placed the order. We got in here. We set up manufacturing equipment for an all new product type, hired several hundred employees, produced that full order, and shipped it all out, all within a year of production. So pretty cool.
So when somebody Googles you, they can see pictures of you hanging out with like the CEO of Apple and, different kind of business gurus out there. Who's somebody that you look up to that, at the end of the day, when you've put in a 10-hour day and you've, tucked in your kids and you're sitting in your bed, who's somebody that you go look at their stuff?
Who am I looking at? Well, obviously, I got to say Elon Musk here, because he was also another one of those moments where Elon Musk was our first customer, actually. And before the government, I guess Elon Musk saw a tweet on the channel he followed with our folding house video and thought it was cool. And then his assistant called me and they placed an order and bought one of the houses. So, he's doing kind of a similar thing, or has done kind of a similar thing. It's a hardware manufacturing startup, a lot of marketing, social media stuff surrounding it, leveraged like kind of a lot of big fan base and, a lot of the principles that he talks about when it comes to manufacturing and all kind of stuff. It's obviously everyone's looking at, me included. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So have you ever been to Alaska, and is it on your bucket list if you haven't?
I have not been to Alaska. I would love to go to Alaska. It seems amazing. I will definitely be there eventually. Maybe after I have some time to.
Yeah, you probably don't have too much free time right now.
Yeah.
So how does somebody, picture the guy that's like living in the middle of nowhere, literally in Alaska, and he's thinking to himself, holy crap, I could get a Boxabl, or somebody that's living in Eastern Maine, tell us, where they can find you. Let's say they want to potentially invest, where they can find that information. Give us that spiel.
Yeah. So right now we are still kind of a new company, just getting started. We actually already have Factory 2 built at the building next door, and we're trying to scale up as fast as we possibly can. But overall, like, demand for this product is off the charts, and I think it's definitely a product that makes sense for an area like that, where you may have limited labor availability and other issues of being in a remote area. Obviously, if you're trying to build a building and it can be done before it arrives in Alaska, and you're in a remote area, that makes a lot of sense. So I would say, if anyone's interested in Boxabl, head over to our website, put your name on the wait list. That way we can keep you updated with our progress of when these may be available in your area. If you're interested in the company or investing, that's also on the website. There's an invest button on there. And check out our YouTube. The last video on there, we did one of the last videos on there, we did a factory update video that shows a whole ton of different milestones that we've had. And also our Instagram page. We're basically posting nonstop, full transparency. Everything we do is kind of live happening on social media. And we also invite people to come and visit our factory anytime. There's a tourist page on the website as well. You can book a tour, a virtual tour, or you can just show up here. We're in Las Vegas, about 20 minutes from the airport and the Strip. And we're trying really hard to get into a third factory as soon as possible that we're calling the Monster Factory, that would hopefully be 10 or 20 times larger than this one here. It would have a whole nother level of efficiencies and cost reductions, and start getting closer to producing the amount of houses that we need to meet this demand for this product that people are going crazy for.
Awesome. So last question to you is this: what's one thing you wish you would have known or done differently 2 years ago that you've learned along the way?
Well, on that front, I wouldn't really change anything ever, no matter what, or whatever bad things happen.
I love
it got me here. So
yeah.
I don't want to have any, butterfly effect by changing the past. But, I think one big thing from the beginning was we've raised, over $100 million from investors for this project. We did that all through crowdfunding, and it's really, there's no downside to it. So if you're looking to raise money from investors for a startup, do crowdfunding, because you're going to be able to call all the shots. You're going to be in charge. You're going to get the best terms for yourself. You're going to remain in control of the company. You're going to build up an army of supporters and followers. And it's just awesome. Like, early on, I'd never raised money for any previous businesses, but obviously, this is this is a heavy lift when it comes to money. So we had to raise money for it. Early on, I was chasing down like traditional VC investors, and just got really, not a good vibe from any of that type of thing. And the crowdfunding has just been amazing. So I would say, anyone who's interested in that, check out crowdfunding and learn more about it. It's becoming more and more popular and more kind of widely accepted as well.
Nice. Well, is there any other last things you'd like to say about Boxabl before we head off?
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening, and hopefully you can check out our stuff and learn more about this. The upside here is just incredible. Like I said, this is a multi-trillion-dollar market around the world. It's an industry that's ripe for disruption. We want to transition almost all building construction on the planet into the factory and into our factories. And so the potential to kind of do good around the world and help a lot of people is really big if we pull this off. So thank you for your interest, guys, and thanks for listening.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for watching the second show for today. We wish you nothing but success. You've already had success. You're in the thick of it right now, and my guess is you're only experienced more. So for folks that are wondering, go Google Boxabl, check them out, and buy one of those for your cabin in the woods. You don't need to hire a labor force. They show up, and an hour and a half later, it's unfolded and ready to go. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and tune into us on Monday. We'll have somebody from the mayor's office giving us a rundown on what's happening in the great city of Anchorage. Until then, I'm John, coming to you from somewhere in Alaska.